As well. With its twin-engine configuration and retractable landing gear, it offers increased safety and performance compared to single-engine planes. It has been favored by many pilots for its handling characteristics and relatively economical operation. And this is one of the reasons that I decided to do this review video of this early access aircraft is one, to give exposure to the developer and hopefully help support this project so that it can continue and thrive. And secondly is that I've noticed that the flight model of this aircraft is extremely unique. It is very different from all the other aircraft that I've flown in XPlane. It is really a very joyful aircraft to fly. It comes in two variants. This is the 3-blade variant, and there's the 2-blade variant as well. The manual that ships with the aircraft is the actual pilot operating handbook. So everything is provided to you as per the real aircraft. That's what the developer, of course, claims. Now, this one is called the Captain Iceman Series. And looking through the developer website, it appears, I'm not sure if Captain Iceman is part of the development team or he's the pilot that has been testing this aircraft for XPlane 12. It is based on the Carenado Seneca II that came ages ago for XPlane 10. So they've made some modifications to make it compatible with XPlane 12. Without a doubt, it looks very, very good from the outside. It's got some really nice details, definitely very authentic in terms of how it looks, according to the footage that I've interrogated before making this this live stream. And hello, Andy. Welcome aboard. Video looks blurry. Please refresh your browser because it looks perfectly fine on my machine and on the video YouTube video footage that I'm viewing as I do the stream. So please just refresh your browser. So in terms of the texturing, this is originally a Carenado aircraft. It's got some nice details considering the age of the aircraft. It is not the highest fidelity that you expect. Definitely by my standards, not the highest fidelity textures, but I have to say that it's, developed to a fairly reasonable standard. It's got, all the components modeled properly to give the aircraft a very authentic look. We can see the wings here, the propeller, the landing gear area. Let's go to the landing gear. Again, you can see the cowl flaps here are open, but yeah, you can see that the textures aren't the highest resolution, and not everything. In terms of the details, it's okay. It's not the highest fidelity, but acceptable standard. I would say that this is an acceptable standard. Moving into the cockpit, it looks very familiar. If you are familiar with the Piper aircraft, this looks very familiar. It looks pretty much like the Piper Cherokee. If you've seen the interior of that aircraft, it looks pretty much similar to it. And overall, the cockpit work is not bad. I think it's reasonably well textured. Again, not the highest fidelity by today's standards, but again, it's reasonably well modeled aircraft. Now, the thing that I really like about this aircraft, again, as I said, is the handling, and it's got this really unique look to it. I think what gives this aircraft its immersion is the fact that you can see the engine here is something very unfamiliar for us. Whether you're a flight simmer or a real world pilot, normally the engine is up front on those piston engines, and for the twin engines, normally it's a little farther back. so you can't actually see it. So this really creates for a very nice view. Very quickly today, what we're going to be doing to just kind of give you guys, keep you briefed on what we're going to be doing. We are currently situated at Van Nuys Airport in the state of California, and we are going to be doing a couple of takeoffs and landings. During the first takeoff and landing, we are going to fly a short circuit where we're going to stall the aircrafts and, just get a feel for how it handles. We are going to land the aircraft. Then we're going to take off again, and we're going to simulate an engine failure. We're going to simulate engine fire, and we're going to see how the aircraft handles with single engine operation. And I think this is the ultimate test to see how the aircraft handles. Now, I will tell you the aircraft ships with several documentation. So it's got this is all the real world, it's the real world King KCS 55A. As you can see here, this comes again. This is the actual manual of the unit. So all the documentation is the real world. This is also the aircraft limitations. So everything again is ships. This is from the actual manual. They just made a scan of the actual manual and they included it here. This is the normal procedures. Again, quick access for the procedures there for the normal operations. And then you've got the entire pilot operating handbook. This is the actual handbook. And you can see here, if you go down here, it's FAA approved by, this is the person who's approved the manual. And, it's got the part number and the airplane serial number. So all of that good stuff is there. So this is the authentic manual that ships with the aircraft, which is pretty cool. I like the fact that they've included everything from the real aircraft, which is pretty cool. All right. In terms of features, again, the aircraft is still in early access, but they have included the weight and balance here, which is pretty cool. And this aircraft is fully compatible with the GTN 750 device available for XPlane 12. Or you could actually fly with no GPS and just VOR. So just use the old school radios. That's another thing that you can do, which is, again, pretty cool because it will give you the option of flying the aircraft in its original configuration when it was first produced. And then, of course, you can install your more modern avionics if that's what you choose to do. All right, so I think enough on all of that. Let's fire it up and let's take it for a flight. We're going to make sure the cowl flaps are open for engine start. And this is actually modeled. If you go to the exterior and look down here, you'll see the cowl flaps there. And if we go back and close these, all right, so if we close the cowl flaps, you'll see that they are actually closed. So I do like the fact that they've modeled this. So we're going to keep those open for engine start. The mixture is idle cutoff and the power lever is idle. Okay, all is good here. And we've done the pre-flight inspection of the aircraft. Looking at the website, it says the requirements are XPlane, Carenado Seneca II XPlane. No, that's not correct. Let me show you. Let me show you real quick. So where is the let's see here, Jetstream Seneca. Okay. So originally, when they started this, you need to go to this one here, to this page. So you'll find this, if you type !aircraft, it will give you this link. And you'll see that this is actually modeled for the, you don't need any of that. So this is incorrect. You don't need any of that for the XPlane 12 version. Originally, when they created the aircraft, they created the aircraft based on the Carenado aircraft. So you had to have the Seneca II by Carenado. But this version that you purchased here that says that this is an early access version 0.1. So this one is a brand new aircraft I think they are still using the Carenado model as a base, but this is a completely separate add-on. It's a completely separate. You don't need to purchase anything other than the aircraft, and it's currently for $18.95. The original price is $34.95 once the aircraft is actually released. So here we go. Let's go ahead and get things started. Let me remove the yoke. We're going to come down here and we're going to turn on the master battery. Now the sounds are F-mod sounds, but you will see that you will, as we go through the stream today, you'll be able to detect that not all the switches and the knobs have sounds. The sounds department needs a little bit of, it needs improvement. The engine sounds are quite nice, I must say. So let's go ahead and start it. So the engine master is on. We're going to come down here. Again, I've noticed that there is a problem with the textures here for the anti-collision lights. So we're going to turn on the anti-collision lights. And then we're going to come here to the magnetos. We're going to start with the right engine first. So the magnetos are on. And this is an optional primer here. So you're supposed to prime, you're supposed to click this along with the ignition start, but I'm not sure how I can do that, so I'm just going to leave it. We're going to make sure that the right engine mixture is full rich, and we're going to turn on the fuel boost pumps, and let's go and start the right engine. There we go. We have a good start. Here you can listen to the sounds as well. Very simple to start the engines. Let's go ahead and start the left engine now. Mixture on full rich, and we're going to turn on the fuel boost pump, and magnetos are on. We're going to prime the engine, and there we go. And now we have a good start on both engines. By the way, you can open this here, and you can hear the sounds. Again, the sounds are reasonable, not bad. Let me go to the outside and make you guys, let's see here. All right, let me just give it some power so you guys can. Yeah. Reasonable F-mod sounds, without a doubt. All right, let's come back to the cockpit, and we want 1,000 RPM. Now, this aircraft, according to what I have read, it's turbocharged, and apparently they've modeled this as we push the throttle. Once we are ready for takeoff, you will notice that surge that comes. Let me give. All right, let's put the prop full forward. We are at 1,000 RPM. All right, let's turn on the avionics. And again, take notice, again, this is the default Garmin device, XPlane GNS 430 device. We've got all our radios here. Transponder is on. We're squawking 1200 and everything. Again, you can remove this completely and just go with the radio navigation. You can do this through the electronic flight bag. All right, everything here is looking good. The autopilot system is located down here. It's fully functional. It works exactly as it should. And we are good to go. Okay, so we're going to come down here one more time. We're going to turn on the alternators on. And we can turn off... actually, we'll leave those on low. That's fine. All right, we don't need the pitot heat. And everything else is looking in tip-top shape. Okay. Let's go ahead and taxi to the runway. It takes a little bit of time, is what I noticed, for the cylinder head temperature and the oil temperature gauges to rise. I'm not sure if this is completely realistic or not. I did notice that the alt amps do not move for the most part. So when you add electrical load, it is not simulated. I think what the developer has done here is really build a model that flies like the real thing. And of course, it is in early access. One thing we need to check is the altimeter. So let's do that.
180 knots, battery still doing. Contact tower 18.3. Have a nice day. 80 to doing. Contact tower 6463.
That's not us, for sure.
So 520 traffic.
Is that us?
3 miles southeastbound, altitude indicates 2,400.
No, that's not the airport. Let me zoom out a little bit. I can't see us. Ah, there we are.
207, 9,000 per 7.
Okay. So we are here at Van Nuys, and we are going to come down here. And let's check. The altimeter is 1013. I'm not sure why it gives me that 1013. So standard barrow. Okay. 1013, and we have 1013. That's 29902.
4389 for right heading.
All right, 29902 is set. Okay, perfect.
090.
Okay. Let's go ahead and taxi to the runway. We can see now the oil temperature rising. The cylinder head temperature is still kind of showing. I think it shows that oil temperature is rising, but yeah, you can see it here. Yeah, that probably needs fixing. All right, parking brake released, and let's head over to the runway. Hello there, Surgeon. Welcome aboard, my friend. Glad to have you here with us. Hello, Alex. Happy New Year to you, my friend. Glad to have you here with us this evening.
520, traffic null factor, contact approach 127.6. Have a nice day.
All right, here we go. Runway 34 left. Winds are calm, so we are at leisure of selecting whichever runway today for takeoff. I'm going to choose 34 left. All right, here we go. All right, we are at a 1,000 RPM. No, we need to go a little further here.
121 heavy, descend maintain 4,000. 5 for 4,000, 121 heavy.
All right, 1,000 RPM. All right, that's good. All right, let's come here, and we're gonna, let me set the view here. Okay. So if I turn off the magneto here, we expect a drop, which we don't see. Ah, there we have it here. And we have it here. All right. Why is not on the... Ah, it's the right engine is the second one here. All right. So that's why. There we go. Okay, we have a slight drop, which is as expected. Okay, perfect. All right, we are good to go. Let's set our flaps. Flaps are set for takeoff. Parking brake is released. The sounds are quite nice. The engine sounds, that is. HD Sim, Happy New Year to you, my friend. Thank you, Greg Hill. Happy New Year to you, my friend. Welcome aboard. Glad to have you guys here. Short answers, XP flight model is much better than absolutely. All right, we are lined up for takeoff, and here we go. We're gonna go full throttle, and then we're gonna rotate. The rotation speed for the Piper Seneca is between 66 and 72 knots. So here we go. We'll give it full power. Now, you saw that dip. It dipped kind of to the ground, and I'm not sure if that is an accurate thing or not. But, and there's another thing that happens once we lift off. Here is 66. There we go. Positive rate. Gears going up. We need to be careful there with the power. You saw how powerful the aircraft is, and look at the speed. It just really goes. It's got very, very powerful engines. Let me bring back the props here to maybe about 2,400 RPM. All right, let's bring the yoke back. Yeah, the sounds are not crazy nice, but they're okay. They're acceptable in my view. All right, let's go ahead and make the turn. Now, watch when I make the turn. The aircraft is very fluid, and it's got an extremely, extremely unique flight model. Very, very powerful aircraft. Tested by real pilots, according to the developer. And I believe that the pilot that tested this aircraft is Captain Iceman, and that's why this is the Captain Iceman Series. So we are at 2,000 feet. That's good. All right, we'll just gain a little bit more altitude so we can perform, you know, the stall. Very, very nice handling of the aircraft. Very easy to trim as well. So let me trim it here a little bit. All right, here we go. Ease off on the power. Trim it a little more.
6.7, reduce speed to
There
1.
we go. All right, let's do a few turns, and when you make the turn, see, when you make the turn here, the aircraft is responsive, but it takes a little bit of time to actually make the turn. Look at that. It's not an abrupt thing. It doesn't happen immediately. There's a little bit of delay there, which I really like, and it really is a very unique flight model. I haven't really flown any aircraft in XPlane that behaves like this aircraft. Now, let me show you when the stall behavior of the aircraft. So I'm going to pitch up, and I'm going to bring the power back. That's the landing gear horn sounding. I'm just going to pitch up. 60. That's about right. And that's the stall right there. Full throttle. Bring the aircraft back. Very realistic stall behavior of the aircraft. And it stalls at exactly the speed indicated in the pilot operating handbook. Right, we don't want to burn our engines there. So you got to be very careful. You have to really manage the power on this Seneca II. Very, very powerful engines. All right. Gonna reduce the power here, and we can begin the turn. The airport is right there behind us. All right. We're going to start reducing the power, and we're going to attempt our first landing back at Van Nuys Airport here in California. And then we're going to take off again, and we're going to do an engine fire. We're going to simulate an engine fire. But let's see how the aircraft actually handles for landing, and we're going to do it in both situations where, you know, we have the engines operational and when the engines aren't. One of the engines is off. Overall, I really like flying this aircraft with all its shortcomings in terms of the sounds and some of the textures. Again, it's early access, but overall, I am very, very pleased with my purchase. I have to say that it's just really a joy to fly this aircraft. And very interesting to read the pilot operating handbook as well. All right, we're going to put the props back to full forward. Start reducing speed. Flaps.
627, turn left heading 09 or
We're a tad too high. All right. So we're back on the ground. And let's set the brakes. And now we're going to take off. And we're going to simulate an engine fire. And we're going to actually do this on the opposite direction. Because I do want to see how the aircraft handles with one engine as we make the turn. So we could do a straight in, but that's no fun now, is it? All right, so let's come here. We're going to set the flaps back up. Excuse me. All right. And one notch of flaps for departure, and everything's looking good. The landing lights are on. I don't think we've turned them off. Or maybe we never turned them on. Yeah, we never turned them on. Okay. So we don't need the nav lights. Okay. All right, so we're ready to go now, and we're going to take off again. And on the turn this time, we're going to simulate an engine fire. Excuse me. All right, so parking brake is released, and we're going to go for full power. There we go. Full power. You saw that dip. I cannot vouch for whether this is accurate or not, but the handling of this aircraft is without a doubt very, very unique. All right, here we go. See, past the 40 knot point, the speed really just accelerates. Right, 65 knots. There we go. We are airborne. Positive rate, gears going up.
Maintain 180 knots, still doing. Contact tower, 118.3. Have a nice day.
Hello, Roy. Welcome aboard. It is only available from the CIS site. Yes, that is correct. That is correct. It was a complete coincidence how I actually found this aircraft. I was actually looking at, something else. I was searching for the pilot operating handbook for a Piper, and this popped in the search, and I said, interesting. I never heard of this developer before. Let's go and take a look. What do they have to offer? And when I went there, originally I saw that that they needed XPlane 10 aircraft, and I actually purchased the XPlane 10 Seneca just so that I can try it out. But then I got busy with stuff, and so I totally forgot about it until I received a notification a couple of days ago that now they support the full, there's a new full version that is not dependent on the XPlane 10 version of the aircraft. Okay, so we are now heading back in the same direction. By the way, if you were wondering, I am using Orbx True Earth Southern California in this stream. So, yeah, all right, let's bring the aircraft to... All right, so trim it here a little bit. All right, looking good. All right, so we're going to begin with the engine fire. Let's see where we are. All right, I think that's a good... We're going to just test the entire flight from here until we land, we're going to make the turns and everything with the engines on fire. So we're going to go to the XPlane menu. We're going to go to Customize. Then we select Failures. We're going to go to Engines, select Failures. And how about we put engine number 2 on fire? All right, so we're going to say Failed, Engine Fire, and Apply. All right, woohoo! Now the engine is on fire. And Mayday, Mayday, Mayday. All right. Now, the one thing you'll notice, there are no warning. There's no warning in the aircraft about the fire. But you can see the oil temperature. Everything here is in the normal. So this is more than likely not simulated. So, but what we're going to do is we are going to bring the... Oof, look at that. So we've turned off the engine there. We're going to bring the prop for only one of them. There we go. And we're going to bring the power back. So now we are flying with one engine, and you can immediately feel you got to compensate maybe with a little bit of rudder here to keep the aircraft flying straight. We did lose a little bit of altitude, so let's gain back the altitude, and the operation actually of the aircraft is unaffected by the engine fire, though we are flying with one engine now. There you can, it doesn't stop the fire, unfortunately, but you can see that we are only operating on one engine. So we need to land ASAP back at Van Nuys Airport. All right. Again, the aircraft is behaving exactly as it should with a single engine, but let me tell you, it's actually a pleasure and flying this aircraft with one engine, and you really feel what what everything I know about aerodynamics with my limited knowledge of the aircraft and flying the real aircraft. I can tell you that with everything I know about aerodynamics, the aircraft is doing exactly what it's supposed to do. And let's go ahead here and make the turn. And very reliable aircraft, even with a single engine operation. Very, very reliable. You can feel a little bit of difficulty with steering the aircraft, because it just wants to go left all the time. So you have to compensate with your with a little bit of rudder, a little bit of. Right, here we go. All right, we can see the runway right ahead of us there. So we're gonna reduce power now. All right, and the runway is to our left. Let's go ahead. We are at a safe speed to lower the landing gear. Now, with the flaps, with a single engine operation, with the flaps, it gets very, very tricky. So I am not going to use the flaps because it's just going to make things a lot more difficult. All right, we're going to use just a little bit of rudder here to bring the aircraft on the final approach here. I do find it a bit difficult to steer the aircraft now because you're going to have one wing. You'll have one wing with flaps, but there is no thrust, so it's going to make the landing extremely difficult. You'll see now that we have to compensate for the lost engine there. So I'm applying rudder with the yoke here so I can keep the aircraft straight, but I'm not going to deploy the flaps. We're going to do the landing without flaps. Maybe one notch of flaps will help things a little bit. Yeah, there we go. Okay. All right, here we go. I love the view of the aircraft cockpit. It just looks so nice. All right, here we go.
170 knots, still doing. Contact tower 118.3. Have a nice day.
And welcome back to Van Nuys, ladies and gents. Lovely, just absolutely lovely. It feels very, very realistic. the handling of the aircraft feels very realistic. Let's take a look at the replay real quick here. I'm very glad that Laminar has fixed the replay. All right, let's go. There we go. Right here you can see the aircraft with only one engine as we come into land back here at the airport. All right, let's see if we can. All right, let's see that. There we go. Just absolutely gorgeous looking. Let's do it one more time. So I think this is why this aircraft is very popular, and just by reading about the aircraft on the single engine operation of the aircraft is done very well, I think, according to what I have read. Let's go ahead and bring this back. One of the things I really love about XPlane is the fact that you can simulate all sorts of failures, and it comes out of the box. You know, you don't have to really, even if the add-on doesn't support failures, you can always simulate them in the most basic way, of course, but you can actually do that, so that's pretty cool. I really like that a lot. Thank you very much, HD Sim. Appreciate it, my friend. All right, let's we'll exit here. Van Nuys is the largest general aviation airport in the world, so you've got plenty of spots to park your aircraft. Obviously the engine is still off, so we're again taxiing with a single engine. And we'll just come over here somewhere and bring the aircraft to a complete stop. There we go. All right. So, what do I think of this aircraft? First of all, I'd like to really commend the developer for developing for XPlane. And a big part of the reason I decided to do an early access review of the aircraft is really to support the effort of the developer, which I think has done a reasonable job. This aircraft is by no means the highest fidelity possible. It's still in early access. It needs a lot of work, but it's got huge potential to be one of the best general aviation aircraft for XPlane. But it needs work. It needs work in the textures department. It needs work definitely in the sounds department. By the way, for the fuel pumps are located here. So you can actually just click here and it will just kill the engines, right? It needs work without a doubt. So it is not. It's a good start. It's a very good start, and from the price point, I think the developers should keep the price of the aircraft at $18. I don't think that a $34 price tag in this state is warranted. If there is, I would also recommend that the developer publishes a roadmap for what can we expect going forward with the aircraft. So what is planned? Are we planning to, for example, properly simulate the cylinder head temperature and all that good stuff, or is that something out of the question? The aircraft is definitely not finished as we speak right now. And it needs work in the sounds department and the textures department. But in terms of the handling, it is by far one of the best I have seen. Personally, I really thoroughly enjoyed flying this aircraft in the XPlane world. From the modeling perspective, obviously, it is an authentic representation of the Seneca II. Again, the model, I believe, is based on the Carenado model. The documentation of the aircraft is sufficient, in my view. Again, it includes the original Seneca II pilot operating handbook with all the relevant, real-world documentation that ships with the aircraft, which makes your experience just a tad more immersive, in my view, if you use the actual operating handbook. Well, if you like this aircraft, I'm going to, I just realized that I have not put the link to the aircraft in the stream description, so I will do that immediately after the stream. But I want to thank you guys very much for tuning in this evening. I hope that this was an insightful and useful first look review of this early access Seneca II by JetstreamFS, the Captain Iceman Series. If you have any questions, as usual, please do post it in the description section. Yes, Saren, it is currently at half price, as it is it's working. It's still in early access, so they're celebrating the release of the early access to the public. And thank you very much, Andy. I appreciate it. Thank you very much, sir. I appreciate that. Again, if you like general aviation aircraft, guys, I will tell you right off the bat that this aircraft will not fail you in terms of how it flies. Yeah, it's got shortcomings in terms of textures. It's got shortcomings in terms of the sounds, but the handling is something you will really come to appreciate. And I give you the Q8 pilot guarantee that you will enjoy very much flying this aircraft in XPlane 12. That is a wrap, ladies and gents. I want to thank you again very much for being with me on this first day of the year. Happy New Year to all of you. I wish every good fortune to all of you in the year ahead. And for myself, Q8 Pilot, until next time, please take care of yourselves and each other. And I will see you all very soon. Thanks for tuning in, and good night.